Paul Adomotwe journalist kese pa e wo my Ghana mu no so di chimu kese so aba e fa lunch martin resignation na say ne wotwe ne fi party ni patriotic party no di chimu kese aba na nsema apai e ka no e hu ye pa wo say Boakye Agyarko na wo sa ko no atwe ne fi party ni mu na wotu ko tene party because so hwenye ma bia so delegate conference na say so delegate election the course no ni bia ye on na no ti nyama nkosi wa na kache kwa no ono krampo no wa ye ko ete party ni mu adenti na kojo lunch martin wa pre no fi party ma pe ye di chimu kese ba my ko equity sema Paul Adomotwe so enkafa kujo alachemantin and Boakye Agyarko as well.
Also, Hackman Oswajeman again was particularly outraged with one of the claims that Alachemantin made in his speech. And when I heard that part, we have that video for you as well. I'm still by way of introducing what we're going to do today. So I have that video for you. When Alachemantin said that the National Council, he almost said the National Council had been reckless in the conclusions that they made. And that's part of the reason why he's leaving. What surprised me a little bit was that Alachemantin seems to be given to the general public, one of the reasons why he's leaving the MPP, a matter that should concern Boakye Agyarko even more. He is concerned about the National Council's response to Boakye Agyarko's concern that in the second round vote that was to occur between Boakye Agyarko and Adainimo, that Boakye wanted all the 800 delegates to participate, and the National Council ruled that it's not all the 800 delegates who will participate. Upon that basis, Boakye exited it, but remains in the party. Alachemantin finds that as a reason and a concern, one of the reasons why he is leaving the party. When the key person involved, Boakye Agyarko, has a video tonight, which I'll show you, which he recorded after the National Council decision, where he's saying that it doesn't matter, I'm still a member of the party. But that's the same incident that Alachemantin cites, that this is one of the reasons why he is leaving. He was not part of that issue. It was between Boakye Agyarko and Adainimo. Boakye Agyarko's concern with National Council was that Adainimo and I have drawn a tie at number 4. You're looking for 5 people. Actually, number 5. You're looking for 5 people. So one of us must step aside and one of us must go. But we have to vote. And I think that all 800 should vote. National Council said, no, Boakye, we are sorry. Only the headquarters polling station will vote. Boakye says, if that's the case, I'm not interested. But he's a member of the party. Alan says, because of the ruling that the National Council gave in the Boakye Agyarko situation, I, not being part of that problem, have yet stepped out of the party. So we'll look at all of these matters. Alachemantin also, for the first time, has been talking about what actually happened in 2008, the role of BJ Darucha and all of that. But he also demonstrated his anger this morning on UTV when the question about Wuntumi came up. We're going to deal with all that. Are they dissimilar? Okay. So this is the 1979 outlook, the way that we have put it together. Now, in 1979, the issue really is that the party that had the greater splits actually did win the election. That's the story of 79. And it's a story, you see, the problem with history, and that's why I'm always fighting with the PNDC people who remove history from our curricula. You say something small about Nkrumah on television, nobody has heard it before. I mean, serious people who are in Nkrumah, they are big people, they have not heard it before. The other day we put here Article 10 of the Republican Constitution 1960. People have not seen it before. Whoever took history from the curricula, he will go to hell. Why do you do something like that to a people? Tell them to cut them off their history. So they took history from JSS, they took history from SSS, because they don't want us to know the history so that we can tell that what they are doing is wrong. That's what they did. I regret to say these things, but some of the people, we know their names. Tonight is not a night for that. But one of these days, we'll fight them. They took history. I can't believe it. I get phone calls. You put something on the TV. Article 11. Is it true? I said, my goodness, such an important person. He doesn't know it. Young man who is brilliant. He's finished university. He got all the first class. Brilliant guy. He didn't know. He was asking me that. Where did you get that from? I said, it is in the Republican Constitution. Go to Ghana Library Board. It's lying down there. So we are going to discuss that today to sort of end that conversation about 1979. MPP was split. Yes, MPP was split into 2. CPP was split into about 6. And I'm going to show you the CPP split. They didn't get the photographs, but I'm going to show you that. So all those saying Alan is 1979, it's not 1979. When I finish, I will show you that Alan is 1969 or Alan is 2000. And I'm going to do the analysis for you to see. So the UP tradition had 2 parties split. Victor Owusu, one of the favorite people that I met only once, my favorite person, but I met him only once because a lot of the people who I wanted them to mentor me, I didn't even tell some of them. I was just following them. They didn't know that they were mentoring me, but I was learning from them. A lot of them, we used to talk about Victor also in very, very fond narratives. I mean, they all love Victor Osu. Nana Akufo-Addo loved Victor Osu. Peter Ajete loved Victor Osu. Professor Dubois talked about Victor Osu. J. Ekufuor talked about Victor Osu so much. So when you Obed Asamoah talked about Victor Osu as well. So and talk of Obed Asamoah's relationship with Victor Osu tonight. I have another surprise for you. The blind historian is here, or if you like, the visually impaired historian Dodu has come from Esiakwa. He's here to give us his analysis, his take on all of these. Is he around? Can they show him on the TV? Okay, call him to come in, and then I'll introduce him, and then he can sit down so people can believe that he's here. Okay, let me get back to the analysis. And as I'm talking, please be cutting out, madam. Make sure you're cutting out the stuff. All right. So let's get back to the analysis. So 1979, and Professor Dimenson says this. I'll show it to you in a minute. 1979, the UP tradition had two. The CPP tradition had several splits. So they had, did I write it down here? They had John Bilson, they had Colonel Banasco, they had Dr. Liman and Morigala. Dodo, please come. Please bring him here. Let's see him on the TV and then you take him back. Yeah, my friend Dodo is coming. Okay. Yes. Hello, Dodo.
Hello, Mr. Paul.
Come. Walk closer to me. Yes, and then turn this way so they can see you. All right, so today we have a lot to say.
Yeah.
All right, so relax. Did they give you coffee? Did they give you coffee?
I just arrived from Esiakwa.
Yeah, you're from Esiakwa.
Yeah.
Yes, you just came.
Yeah.
And we spoke yesterday. Did you grant the interview that I gave you permission to grant?
Yeah, the Kofi TV.
You did it?
Because you gave me permission, I did it.
Yeah, Dodo is my good friend. He's here. He's in the studio. So don't go anywhere. So please come and take Dodo back to his seat, and then we'll call him in when it's time. Okay, thank you. Take the microphone from him. Yes. All right, viewers, it's 10 o'clock now, so we are really on the highway. So back to the story. Please put the mic down and follow back to the story. All right. Sorry, I'm telling the lady who is marking the time for me. She marks the time. She tells me that this was obiter dictum. Those who don't understand, obiter dictum is the part of the narrative that's not very important. So she's cutting out the obiter so that she will give me the real thing, and then you can get it on social media. Okay, so UP had two splits. That's a matter of fact and a matter of record. The CPP had more splits in 79 than the UP. So the analysis of 79 is that the party that had the greater splits, they actually won the election. So this whole narrative about an MPP split in 79 and therefore they didn't win, the UP was split in more diverse, smaller portions. Dr. Liman. Now, let me explain to you what happened. Imoro Igala here had been disqualified from running as a presidential candidate. He was one of Nkrumah's favorite ministers, and he wanted to run as presidential candidate, but he had been involved in some corruption, anti-corruption, something like that. A committee of inquiry by Niama or Leno or so had found him guilty of one thing or the other. The transitional provisions for the 1979 Constitution, the rules of the Electoral Commission made by Kingsley Nyina, the Electoral Commission of the day, was such that people like Igala could not contest for presidential elections. This came quite a bit late in the day when the announcement was made. Blemeza was disqualified, if you have heard it before. Igala was disqualified. So having been disqualified, Igala now was confronted with a situation to have one of the people he may not have personally mentored to be the leader of the PNP, the Nkrumah's party. Igala was not happy with that. Igala thought he needed somebody to lead the PNP who was his own man. Igala was particularly strong because he had the support of Okuchwe Bekwin, who was an Nkrumah's stalwart. He had the support of Krobo Edusei. All these guys were alive in 79. Very interesting period in Ghana. Afro-Bedema was alive. All the people who had done the UGCC and the Nkrumah's period were all alive in 79. So that was a very big election. Everybody was there. Pawuli was there. Akufo-Addo was there. Only Dr. Dankwa and Dr. Buzia had died, and Kwame Nkrumah had died. But the rest, all the actors of the time, were all there. Okay. So Igala had the support of Bekwin, and he had the support of Krobo Edusei and Kojo Botsio. These were the biggest Nkrumah's names. So they backed him.